knowing what was in sight or what the future was holding, with not having too many promoters putting on fights. So I actually, stopped training for about 2 weeks. Just started working a little side job with my buddy to make some extra money, and wasn't even about, like I said, about a week and a half, 2 weeks, I got that phone call, and it was a phone call, an opportunity of a lifetime. I didn't really think that it was real at first.
I was about to ask you that, man.
Right. And then when I realized, I was talking to Badu's people, it said it very quickly that they were serious, and, I was ready for the opportunity and the task.
You're absolutely right, because I follow you, and I remember you were on a break. I thought it was a little more like 3 weeks. And for you to take that break, I can tell by reading your post that you were mentally just tired. That break was long awaited, because you were out in the gym. You're always putting in work, posting your daily, and continue to promote yourself. I remember that break, and then all of a sudden, I remember telling Cole, I said, well, he wasn't planning on it, but here we go.
Yeah, I love working out. Being somebody that's prior military, and after my deployment, I've struggled with PTSD. So for me, like, as much as I love the sport of boxing, I just absolutely love being in the gym. And for, I don't know how it may feel for a lot of people, but for me, being in the gym as much as I am, it's like free counseling and therapy. And it makes me feel great, man, being somebody that, battles a lot of issues. So I love being in the gym, and I love doing it. So when I needed to take a break, it was more so my body was really breaking down. And I kind of had to hit that reset button after pushing it so hard all year. But yeah, it wasn't too hard for me to, drop everything I was doing to get back in the gym. That was too easy to do once I got that phone call.
Me and Cole, we were always talking about, this virus got everybody, up against the rope, so to speak. But at the same time, we talked about, remember, Cole, the opportunities that would be coming the way of fighters that normally wouldn't get the call, that normally wouldn't get the exposure. And, Blake is living proof of that. We talked about that. Do you remember that conversation we had, Cole?
Yeah, we actually talked about it a couple different weeks where we were talking about the new market landscape, that the bubble, so to speak, and the way promotions were being run as a whole was going to change a lot of things. And there was going to be lots of last-minute phone calls, lots of fallouts, It was a new landscape that was being created beyond anyone's control. So this being the way it went out was surprising, but not too surprising the way it went down. Does that make sense? Like, we knew a lot of people were going to be getting last minute phone calls. Like, hey, are you ready to take this fight? Are you down? Like, even UFC, MMA fights, lots of people are getting last minute phone calls.
You're absolutely right. Blake, it's no secret. I know we're all far from being perfect, but you've always made it a point to do the right thing, so to speak. One thing that stuck with me is I talked to you right after a fight. It was a top-ranked fight, I believe it was on the Stockton card. And I said, Blake, there was a couple times, the referee gave him instruction, but the other guy, he wasn't looking, man. I mean, I thought you were just going to go off and, throw a right hand or two. And you said something that stuck with me, and you said, Rich, I'm not a dirty fighter. I wanted to, hey, I'll make sure he got his hands up before I engage. I remember you said that, and it stuck with me.
Right. I've always been like that, man. I've always tried to show respect. Like, for me, me pursuing boxing was for me to get away to do what I'd love to do in a legal way. But what a lot of people don't realize, man, is I've been through a lot of things throughout my life, man, and I was doing a lot of stuff before that wasn't necessarily the legal route, and it could have, ended me in a lot of trouble or gotten me in a lot of trouble. And, when it comes down to fighting, I absolutely love the sport. And, I'll always give due diligence and credit and respect any man that's willing to, be courageous enough to climb through the rings. Because let's face it, man, fighters in today's generation are considered like modern day gladiators. We do something that most people don't even have any type of, guts to be able to do what we do. We sacrifice our minds, our bodies, our times away from our family to be entertainers, to entertain spectators around the world. And, a lot of times people don't understand or realize how much we put ourselves through in order to, get ready or prepare for a fight. So You know, to really get back to your question, man, it's just, you know, I've had a lot of guys try to do a lot of dirty things with me during fighting, and I've never really tried to stoop that low. Somebody tries to go low, I always try to go high, you know, just be the bigger person. And a lot of it is just being composed, man. A lot of times people want to try to do dirty stuff to throw you off of your game plan and mindset and get you pissed off. And I don't know, I feel like I've always done a good job of not ever really letting that happen.
You know, Blake, first of all, I appreciate you having you on the show. And, you know, just like the UFC is doing it, just like Top Rank did a while ago, and because of the time that we have and because of the questions that have been coming your way, I'm going to cut the fat right off the show. So everybody put your seatbelts on, man. I mean, we're going to jump right into it. Blake, I've always said, man, you're 90 miles away from us. I've always said, hey, let's show some encouragement to one of our own, because every time you came to Fresno, you had nothing but respect for it. Why is it people in the media, it's called you brothers, are all of a sudden, instead of supporting, they're coming at you. They're not supporting, and they're making note of it, and you can see change in it. Is it because of your opportunity? Has something changed, or what is it? I just want to go heads up with it right off the gate, man.
You guys ever heard that saying, elevation requires separation? That's something that's just been really, you know, a saying that's been on my mind fresh a lot lately. And pretty much how I've been really seeing things throughout my career as I've developed and moved up is that, you know, when you're doing something that most people can't do or want to do but don't have the know-how to do it, I just feel like when you're pursuing something that people always want to try to count you out in, it's going to make people bitter, envious, jealous, whatever it is, man. At the end of the day, I'm out here doing something. I'm pursuing a childhood dream, something that I've dedicated my entire life for. There's certain people that I've crossed paths with along the way that may have showed me fake love, you know, may have, in a sense, been down for me to a certain extent. And then, you know, when it wasn't beneficial for them, it was just too easy to throw in the towel. At the end of the day, man, it's no love lost. Like I said, in order that separation requires, or elevation requires separation. So it's like, I don't think that I'm better than anybody, but it comes to a certain point that when you want to elevate and get to a certain status in life or in your career, there's just certain things that you can't do. Certain establishments or places you can't go. Certain people you just got to distance yourself from. And at the end of the day, man, I love what I'm doing. And, you know, it's unfortunate that, you know, if I've had people around me that may have not always done what they intended to do, might have had, you know, I don't know, man. It's a question that I'm trying to answer, but, you know, it's so relatively new of things that have transpired the last couple of weeks. It's just kind of really putting me in a spot that I'm not going to badmouth nobody, because that's not what I do. You know, I'm a man of honor and integrity, and, you know, there's certain things that have happened in the last couple of weeks, man, that just really got me to a certain point. Like, I can't believe that some people would really go that low to do some of the things that they've done, you know?
It puts you in a position to really see what your circle really is. And a lot of people find out that their circle should be a lot smaller than it is, and unfortunately you can't be in the circle anymore. You know, they don't realize how small that circle has to get. And that's another thing people don't realize about fighters. You really got to make your circle small, because you can only have people around you that believe in what you're believing in. Like, if they don't believe in your success, you just, at that time, you don't need them in your life, because they're just going to be like, oh, you can't do this, don't do this, you're doing that wrong. You need people that, even if they know it's an uphill battle in some things, you need them to support what you're doing anyway. Right. That's the circle you need.
Well, at the end of the day, though, man, it's certain people can only believe in you to a certain extent, right? Nobody is ever going to believe in you the same way that you do. Like, I'm, again, pursuing something that I've envisioned and dreamed about ever since I was 10 years old. I've always only had one plan with my life, and I'm living it. You know, after this fight that I just had, it really put me in a position to become more of a household name. It put me in a position for the world to have a better idea of who I am on a more of a bigger and global stage. and I'm very thankful for the opportunity. But, you know, within saying that, I've gotten a lot more love. The love is elevated from around the country and around the world, but the hate has elevated too, man. The type of people that, you know, in a sense that I thought were really down for me, some, you know, could be people that I thought were close to me, people that weren't, people that I've met, people I haven't. But again, it's fake love, man. It trips me out when somebody that you had a relationship for years could even just, you know, put up a post, right? And to see how many people that respond to that post that want to smile to your face and then say so many good things about you and even purchase merch. But then as soon as the result happened, you know, we lost by decision. Wasn't a loss in my mind. It was definitely a learning experience and a win, you know. What happened, you know, it's something that's only going to elevate us and make us better. But seeing people's reaction, it's like when they can jump on the bandwagon that so easy and start saying things, it's an eye-opener. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't really care for you or got love for you the way that they say that they do.
True. You get a lot of bandwagoners that just want to be there for the hype and the ride. Yeah.
People want to be around because they always know, like, if you got anybody that knows anything about me, man, I'm not even going to deny it. I love the spotlight. I love the attention. But I'm one of those people, I'm very humble. You know, I love sharing my journey with my friends, my family, with my fans. You know, I try to incorporate people in everything as much as I can. But it's almost like throughout my career, you'll even get those people that love to come around because whenever I go out, I got, you know, I get a lot of comps, or I go out, I get treated differently. I always have beautiful women around me. People want to be around me because of the opportunities that are there when they're with me. Who knows what it is? But, you know, some people have alternative
agendas.
And, you know, you don't really know. What's so crazy now, man, is in today's world, some of your biggest enemies will be disguised as friends and will smile directly in your face. But, you know, over time, you know, I think when Richie and I were talking for a few minutes last night, you always got to listen clearly to people's actions and less to their words, because people can easily lie to you, but their body language and their actions always show you who people are. And when people show you who you are, you got to believe them.
Yeah, you can't ignore those things. Like, even with relationships, you can't ignore the flags.
Right.
No.
Well, Blake, I mean, opportunities are coming your way, but you're also Mr. Popular, because some questionnaire has come in that normally doesn't come in. I'm going to address some questions as well, but I do want to start the questions in with this. I got a call from I got a partner in Australia. His name is Maydad Roland. He asked, "Hey, is it okay if I give your number out to a certain somebody?" He asked some advice for Blake McKernan. I said, "Absolutely." So I get a call from the original Beast, from John the Beast Mugabe.
Okay.
If you know him, he fought Marvin Hagler when he was 24-0 with 24 knockouts.
Right.
He lost. He was stopped by Marvin Hagler, but after dropping right hands. He said, going into that fight, he can tell that you wanted to win, that you were pursuing the fight. His advice to you is, just like you said, coming off that loss is not always a loss. It's an opportunity to gain several victories, not just in the ring, but in life.
Right.
Now, if you understand what he means by that, that's good. But at the same time, he watched the fight. He's all the way in Australia. And you talked earlier on top of the show about worldwide and opportunities in a household name. This guy wanted to reach out to you. You finally got a hold of me, and that's what I wanted to relay to you. And, you know, if you don't remember who he is, you can look him up. John the Beast Mugabe, one of the original OGs in the boxing world, fought Marvin Hagler for the middleweight title.
Right.
He was 24-0 with 24 knockouts. You know, unfortunately, he lost to Marvin Hagler. Took another loss later on in his career to Terry Norris. But I say the original Beast because you were just a child, or probably weren't even born when he was lacing him up, man. But
right. Name sounds familiar. I can't really put a face with the name right now, but I feel like I definitely have heard the name before.
Well, when you Google him after the show and you look him up, you're going to be like, okay, wow. You know, I am making some waves. I am. People are starting to notice what I'm doing. But I say that because you know, not everybody is how can I say, is as nice as John the Beast Mugabe. And it's not only that. First of all, I got a questionnaire. It's from as a good buddy of yours, Don McGuire, who also rocks with the fighter's voice. He said, other than being in the military, Blake, what is your other passion? What giving your passion to preserve? I mean, what do you have other than being in the military to offer this world?
I have a lot to offer this world. You know, the greatest asset, man, is I've always been a very positive and motivational and inspirational person. You know, I always feel when I was younger, I didn't necessarily know how to deal with it. But as I've gotten older, I always feel that God will never bring you to it if he can't bring you through it, right? You know, I'm a man of God. By no means will I ever, you know, try to claim that I'm perfect. You know, I make mistakes every single day. But after being through a lot of the obstacles and overcoming a lot of the adversity that I have throughout the course of my life, which is a lot of things that maybe not everybody deals with, but there are a lot of people out there that have paths ahead of them and are having some tough lives, is I'm in a position to where I can share my story to motivate people like, hey, whatever it is that you're going through in this world, I promise you there is always light at the end of the tunnel. You can overcome anything that comes your way. And, you know, I love to be able to share my story with people, to just let people know, like, hey, do not give up. Everybody always wants to count you out, but you can never count yourself out. You got to keep on fighting every single day. Keep on pushing forward, because at the end of the day, you only fail if you quit.
Exactly.
You don't ever quit, you ain't never going to fail.
Exactly. And let me rephrase a lot of it that's coming up. It says, what other than being in the military is giving you the passion to persevere? And also, how has your son influenced your growth in the sport? That's from Don McGuire.
Being anybody that knows me knows that my greatest asset or job in the world is being a father. You know, as much as I love my son, it's definitely one of the most rewarding jobs in the world, but it is also the most stressful at certain times. But you know, I just being able to share my career and my life and my journey with my son is everything, because I remember growing up and my parents were never around. I was going through life all on my own, all by myself. So for me to be able to share everything that I'm doing with my son is a great feeling. And more importantly, kids at a very young age might always get asked a $1 million question, like we all have when we were younger. What do you want to be when you grow up? And so many teachers and so many people over the years, I remember when I was a kid, always want to shoot you down your hopes and dreams and aspirations as a young child when they make it feel like you're not capable of doing something just because they couldn't do it. And I'm showing my son firsthand, like, hey, if you ever want anything in the world, if you have a dream and a vision, you most importantly, you know, you believe in yourself and work hard, you can achieve anything that you put your mind to. And I'm showing my son that. You know what I mean? You can never quit. You know, my son's seen me have to go through the obstacles and the roller coasters of the opportunities that, you know, have been taken away from me that I thought were going to be, you know, bigger or better than what they were. But at the end of the day, you know, we just got to keep looking forward and focusing on what's ahead, you know?
Exactly. I agree with you. This next question is coming from a stablemate of yours, man. Kilo the Kid Madera from Stockton.
Kilo.
He said, after fighting Jack, what do you think you could have done differently to pull the upset? Not reflecting back.
Man, you know, it's so crazy. I've been thinking about that question for the last week and a half, and it's very simple. Be more active. I feel like my movement, my defense, everything was great. I did everything that we had been practicing the whole fight. We had known that he was probably expecting me to get in there and bang and brawl, and that was something that my coaches wanted me to try to get away from, to show people like, hey, I can box. But, you know, I was just being in the fight. I had a lot of things transpire leading up to the fight. We don't really got enough time to talk about everything, but there was a lot of obstacles the last couple of weeks. You know, I didn't have my corner in there. Going into that fight, I didn't even have a cut in. I had a boy that stepped in like 5 days before the fight because I had guys testing positive for COVID. I had people having to get rushed into surgery. Like, it really threw me off in a lot of ways, but I had to stay composed. And, you know, biggest way to answer that question, I should have just been more active. I was thinking way too much in the ring, instead of just letting my hands go. And, you know, that if I would have been able to let my hands go more, definitely would have been a different outcome of the fight. But, you know, I can't blame anybody but myself.
This next question is coming in from Lukey. You know Lukey, right? My man Lukey?
Yeah.
He said, ask Blake about Jay Hollywood on your show. That used to be your best friend or your best friend?
The only thing I'm going to answer about that, we kind of touched on a little bit before. Sometimes throughout life, people may be caught up in their feelings. Again, it wasn't me. It was something that they may have done. And, you know, sometimes people distance themselves too much and remove themselves from equations. You know, I've never had any ill will towards Jay. You know, he's feeling some type of way. I can't speak for the man, but, you know, at the end of the day, I wish him well. Whether he comes back around to be on the team or not, that's ultimately his decision.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I asked that question without knowing anything that transpired or any of the above. So I'm going to move along. This next one is for this is quite interesting right here. I'm going to pull this up right here. Just bear with me. Okay, here we go. This is okay. From Evan Solorio, MMA fighter, professional MMA fighter, now professional police officer. Ask him about a match up against a local someone like myself for his next run instead of calling out YouTubers on Facebook.
So I'm not even calling out YouTubers. The whole reason I was responding to the Jake Paul situation was the dude did a YouTube video. I'd have to find it, but somebody had sent it to me, where he was talking shit about me and Badu. At the end of the day, this dude's a fucking clown. Excuse my language, but
no, hey, it's
bro,
the podcast.
Look, it pisses me off when you got guys like myself that have dedicated and sacrificed their entire lives to pursue this sport. Then you get some fucking guys like Jake Paul. Hey, man, if you, on a business aspect, you're getting in from your side, hey, come in and make good money, do exhibitions. But for you to come in, you know, and all of a sudden just want to fight professionally, I don't really agree with that, man. I feel like it's a big slap in the face and a discredit to the sport. I feel like it's a big slap in the face and a discredit to the fighters. And the only reason I even would agree to fight that guy in a professional fight, just because I want to shut him the fuck up. The dude is very immature, and he talks a whole lot of shit. And you even got me riled up thinking about the dude right now, because I just can't stand him as a person. I don't think he's a solid person. And him putting my name in his mouth is the wrong fucking decision. So that's all I got to say. So I made that post, called this dude out. If he thinks he's so good, he's fighting guys that really have no experience. Come and get in the ring with somebody like myself that got experience, and I promise you I'm going to give you an L. You know what I mean? He's glamorizing and bragging about knocking out my dude, Nate Robinson. Heart goes out to Nate and his family. Thank God he's okay. But I'll sleep Jake Paul in ways that people ain't never seen. The dude ain't shit.
Enough said. You heard it from a beast, man. I mean, when you got the beast in his cage and you rattle that cage, you're going to get the whip, man. So I appreciate you being honest and answering these questions. But I did want to ask you this, man. How has your life changed since the fight? I mean, when I say that, because I know your phone's ringing off the hook. I know people are coming to you with sponsor deals. I know people are coming to you with different proposals. When do you sit down with your new team? Because you did reflect that, you do have some new members on your team, and make a decision for the public, not only for the public, but for yourself.
Well, at the end of the day, man, I'm always going to make the executive decision on what I want to do. This is my career, right? I have people like my manager, Josh ESCOVEDO. He came on board earlier this year, and this guy has, been doing some amazing things with me. So with that said, whatever opportunities are brought to me or to Josh and present themselves, a lot of it is moving strategically. This is a game of chess, not checkers, right? And I always look at successful people and successful fighters that had amazing careers. And there's always a right time when you want to fight certain people, when you don't, based off of, You know what I mean? A lot of different things, what type of money is being involved or whatnot. But, you know, whatever opportunities come our way, my manager and I will discuss them. We'll discuss them between us and my coach. You know, we'll strategically see if it's something that's within our best interest or something that we should wait for, and then we'll move forward, man. But at the end of the day, it's just, you know, protecting everything that happens in my career.
I got to ask you this, because I know Cole has some questionnaire as well, and we spoke about it a little bit yesterday, man. And I'm going to tell you this: those body shots would have folded any human being on this planet. I don't know how you withstood those body shots. I mean, you took shots round after round, and you continued to move forward and didn't show any evidence of slowing down. I mean, your legs were in great shape, man. I will say that, and your endurance. I don't know how in the hell you took those body shots. Talk to us about what was going on in there when that happened, because not everybody could talk about that. You lived through it.
Look, man, I'm going to be completely honest. I always give credit where credit is due. First off, you know what I mean? Even though I don't really care for the guy because of his attitude, in my opinion, I think he's an asshole. But my hat goes off to Badu. He was a better man that night. He won the fight, and I knew it after the fight was over. But within that said, you know, I always give credit where credit is due, man. Badu never hit me with anything that hurt me. I've never been hit by a punch that's ever hurt me in my life, whether it's been in or outside of the ring. I think that during my fight, I really showed people why I got the nickname The Beast. Like, to most people, after me watching, I can understand from a spectator's perspective and view that, oh, he might be taking some big shots, but I never once felt anything I got hit with. You know what I mean? To you, like you had mentioned, I took some big shots that you think would have folded most people. I'm not no normal fighter. I'm like that 80s, 90s fighter that will get in there and slug it out with you. Give me your best, I'm going to give you mine. You know what I mean? And just physically and mentally, my body and my mind is different than the average person, especially the average fighter in today. And I don't know, man. There's no quitting me. You know what I mean? After a lot of things that I've been through throughout my life, a lot of the pain that I've overcome, the things that I've, you know, been through in the military, I don't feel like anybody can hurt me physically in this sport.
Cole, I'm going to set this one up for you. About a year ago, you came to me, Cole, and you said, what's the story with this Blake guy from Sacramento? What's the story with the Beast guy? Hey, what do you know about him? Why isn't he signed? Or what's going on with him? Isn't he undefeated? Firsthand, it's right here on a silver platter. Cole, what is your take on Blake the Beast McKernan?
I'm glad I asked those questions. Like, when I started asking those questions, it was because we were at a stage of putting somebody on, trying to take somebody that had huge opportunity and huge ability and just hadn't been given the right perspective, I think, is what it was. I think there's people that are powers that be, so to speak, that were more so looking at a perspective of, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, where you just had to go, no, look at it. Just look at it from this angle. And he's a fucking 13-0 cruiserweight. This is the things that I wanted to know, and by doing that kind of allowed me to start learning more about Blake and realizing, really starting to scratch my head like, well, damn, why are they looking at it that way? That doesn't make sense, because I'm a fighter, and I've looked at it, it's like, no, you have a dude that's 13-0. He's a big motherfucker. He's got a personality. You can put that guy out front center stage. You just gotta understand where he's coming from. And that was, I think, the thing that when I started asking you about him at that time, I was under the impression that people weren't giving him the proper perspective. Like, people were just looking over him and only looking at certain things. And I'm like, no. You guys are looking at it all wrong. So that's when I started asking you those questions about it, because I needed to know more for other obvious, what obvious side reasons led to. So it always confused me, because from a fighter's perspective, the way they were looking at him just, to me, seemed all wrong. So, but now, we get a true opportunity to see the kind of person Blake is, not just as a fighter, but as a person as a whole. Like, it's a whole package now. The world has now been given the opportunity to see who Blake McKernan is, not just who the Beast is. We now get to see who Blake is. And I think a lot of people, like you said, you have a lot of people that you're finding all kinds of new love, you're finding all kinds of new haters. I guarantee you, though, you're hater to follower ratio has drastically changed.
Big time.
You've taken so many haters and turned them into people that were like, holy shit, that was a good fight. That dude, so many people expect you to get blasted on by Badu and just be done and be like, oh, see, he did.
Well, let's be honest
like,
about it. The betting odds on the fight, my boy sent them to me, screenshot them, sent them to me after the fight. They said I had a 90% rating of getting knocked out in less than 3 rounds. Whoever came up with those numbers needs to be shot. You know what I mean? Like, that they're going based off of what? My limited record? Okay, but you ain't going off of the heart. You guys don't know my heart. You guys don't know my drive, my determination. So it's like, at the end of the day, it was our first sale. We took a loss, but at the end of the day, it was a win. We won in so many other ways that people aren't even thinking of right now. You know what I mean? Aside from that, I got on my social media between my Instagram and Facebook, I got over 2,000 messages from people from all over the city, the state, the country, the world. Almost every single one said, Blake, you showed so much heart. You showed so much grit. You got the toughest body, the toughest chin I've seen anybody in this era of fighting. Bro, keep on doing what you're doing. This ain't a loss for you. You're going to bounce back. This is opening up a lot of doors, opportunities for you. And I feel the same exact way. Being honest, because of how hard I push myself, I'll never be okay with the loss. I'm still mad that I got an L on my record right now because I'm a winner. I have a winning standard and I have a winning mindset. But at the end of the day, I have to look at all the little things and see the type of opportunities that are going to come from this. I finally got put in a position. Well, I put myself into a position, but a big thanks to Legends League, Triller, and Badu's team for allowing me to take the fight or have the fight. But, I've been able to put myself in a position to where now I fought on a global stage for people to finally see who I was. I felt like a lot of promoters, a lot of people weren't really giving me my fair shake. And look, I'm not going to try to toot my own horn, man, but let's face it, let's be real about it. I'm a minority in the sport of boxing. I'm a white guy in a sport that is predominantly ran, by Hispanic and black fighters, and there's nothing against that. But I'm like, when you think of for me, thinking from the outside person's perspective, I'm a white guy in a cruiserweight heavyweight division. I'm a prior military decorated combat vet. I'm personable. I'm entertaining. I'm thinking that I check all the boxes. I would be any promoter's dream. But, it's a mystery to me why I haven't been signed yet, but everything is on God's time, not our own. And, whatever's meant to be will be, man, and it will come whenever the time's right. So hopefully that comes very soon. There's one promoter that I would love to work with that, I was given a promotional contract after my first year, and then I had an injury that kind of took that offer on the table. But, at the end of the day, whatever promoter is willing to sign me and take me to a level to allow me to become a world champion, that's the route I want to go.
Very well said, man. You kind of share with me who you're leaning towards, but we won't reveal that because all the options open. Knowing everything that's in front of you now, and people falling off, people coming on board, but yet you get to read comments. Mario Lopez said that this guy is one tough dude. He must have some Mexican in him. Snoop Dogg said, I've never seen body shots like that. The only time I've seen stuff like that is when I was high. I mean, when you have celebrities making comments and watching your fight, how does that make you feel? Like, man, I'm just a kid from Sacramento, and and these guys are taking their first look at me, and I've known this all along.
To be honest, that was the first time I heard those, and they cracked me up. The thing about Snoop, man, you know what I love about Snoop? He's genuine and authentic, and you have no idea what the hell is ever going to come out of that dude's mouth. Very much like myself. I respect it. But going back in, rewatching the fight, before the fight happened, I felt like all the commentators or the boxing analysts were giving me a lot of respect based off of, things I've been through, how they're talking about me, my military experience, whatnot. The fight happened all the way up until the 4th round. I think that they were a little unsure, might have maybe thought I was in over my head. They were they kept on making it seem like I was hurt when I was never hurt. But then, like, after the fourth round, it was like a big shift. Now you start to hear guys like Sugar Ray Leonard being like, this dude is tough. This dude has got a chin. This guy's fighting like he has more heart than a lot of guys in this era of fighting do. And it was just a big shift in what the things that the commentators were saying. I just felt at that point like I really started to show people like, hey, I'm not an average fighter, even though a lot of people may not have heard about me. I was meant to be here. I'm built to do this. And, I think you guys tell me if I'm wrong, but I've had a lot of deep conversations with friends and family members and, even responded to a lot of fans' comments. And I think that during that fight, it showed that I did have a lot of toughness and a lot of heart. And I probably definitely showed people like I maybe wasn't as weak or was better off than what people thought.
Blake, how long did it take the body to recover, man? When did you realize that, okay, the fight's over now, I can get my rest? Because you look good. I mean, you look like you recovered very, very well, mentally and physically.
Well, yeah, during the fight, I didn't have a cut man during the fight. Unfortunately, my cut man was in the hospital. He had to have surgery. So during the fight, I developed a hematoma over my left eye, my left forehead. And if I would have had, my cut man there or a cut man, that type of stuff wouldn't have happened. But other than that, I wasn't in any type of pain or anything after the fight the following days. I am always a little sore after any of my fights. I think like anybody is. Within a couple of days, it goes away. But, yeah, I feel great. I think I look great, too.
There you go. Talking about someone who's very confident, man, I got to ask you, did you have time at all to watch the documentary of the late, great, the legendary Hector Camacho?
I haven't. I haven't been able to see that yet.
I will suggest this. It is a must-see. We were able to sit down and also have on the show Hector Camacho Jr., and he talks highly of you. I talk about you, and he goes, yeah, that's my guy from Sacramento. He said he's going to be okay. When the fight was first named and people were giving their opinion, he kept saying, Richard, he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay in that fight.
I think I believe I talked to Hector Camacho Jr. a couple times on, I believe it was Facebook. He had a business partner that kept on trying to show interest in me. Things ended up not playing out maybe how they had developed, but my conversations with him over the years have been kind of very limited, but I never felt like in any way like he was trying to be negative. But yeah, I'm appreciative that guys like that are out here saying good things about me.
Well, let's talk about your walkout attire, man. I got to give props to I Got My Own Back, man. I mean, they know how to put some walkouts together. Out of all the people, why I Got My Own Back, and did they take care of you, man? Was it what everybody says, top notch?
JR is awesome, man. His brand is awesome. He's an amazing person. And when I first got introduced to him, I had kind of been familiar with him on social media. We were following each other, but I didn't really have any type of rapport or relationship with him. One of my followers, I guess, was either a friend or a family member of his and put us in a group chat together. And then it just felt right, man, to work with him. He had a lot of creative ideas. He's worked with a lot of top fighters. I liked his artistic ability, the way that his mind works when he was orchestrating, putting together outfits. And I just felt like it was a good fit to work with him this fight, to develop one hell of an outfit that was going to be able to allow me to look great on fight night. And once we started getting into it, we had a lot of things that kind of fell through last minute, and JR was there to kind of pick up the slack and make sure that everything went through solid. He did more and went over and beyond to be able to have us his brand does. I got my own back. I'm very appreciative that we crossed paths with him. Take my hat off, big shout out to JR for all of his love and support and everything that he did to help us get ready for this fight. And yeah, I mean, I was very happy with the outcome of the outfit that he had created for us. Loved it.
Bigger question is who does your outfits for your watch photo shoots?
For my what?
All these photo shoots I've seen you've been doing lately. Are these like your own personal photo shoots?
Yeah, hey man,
I like those suits, man.
So I got a designer that I work with.
How many people can say that? I got a designer.
Yeah.
Right. So I got an amazing designer. Her name is Katie Cantrill. She's here in Sacramento. And she pretty much has helped me develop like my own clothing and branding of my clothing line for like my day-to-day wear, you know. And then for like more elegant events, when I want to get suited and booted, we got my man Ryan over at R. Douglas. That this guy saying that his suits are nice is an understatement. This dude produces some amazing suits and some great quality, and I was very happy with the color scheme and everything that they had picked out for me. Everybody
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, everybody that knows me knows that I'm a very loud person in everything I do. You know what I mean? How I dress, how I talk, everything. So, you know, I feel like that suit that he had picked out or selected for us was very loud. And I don't know, man. I feel like I made a statement for sure with that thing. I loved it. I
don't know if I would say loud as much as it does scream command presence. It
right?
Really you in the fucking
hey, that's a good way of thinking about
fucking Blake's here, guys. Guess what? Daddy's home. So I really liked it. That's why every time I saw it, I was like, man, these are really done well, too.
That was some Connor shit right there, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like having fuck you on the pinstriping or something, man. Like it's personal. You know, if you look in on the monogram or something says, go fuck yourself. Like something that's just the beat, you know?
Well, I love looking good, man. You know what I mean? Look good, feel good. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, you know, a big shout out to Ryan at R. Douglas for, you know, supporting the movement, giving us an amazing suit. Big shout out to Katie Cantrill for, you know, getting us suited and booted for everything else, making sure that we always look right. And, you know, at the end of the day, man, I'm just very appreciative for guys like you, for all the people that have supported me throughout my life and my journey, sponsors, everybody, man. So anybody that's ever been down with the cause and supported me throughout my life and my career, I'm just very grateful.
Well, I mean, you're an easy person to like, man, and like you said, you beat me
not to everybody.
Well, yeah, well, not to everybody.
Not to everybody.
You're not going to please everybody. You're not the only one in your circle where you have people falling out, and you know, you lose some, you gain some. But Ernie Hyman's from Fresno, California. He said it best, and you already addressed that. He said, "Man, this dude's a promoter's dream. This guy pushes himself. He tags everybody that needs to be tagged, and you know, these young fighters, they need to take note, man. But you still need to get a Twitter, though."
I'm not messing with Twitter, man. You know, maybe my manager or somebody will want me to have one in the future. I don't really care for it. No, before I brought on my manager, I was doing everything myself. I do all my own self-promotion, marketing, was getting all my own sponsorship endorsements, selling tickets, merch for all my prior fights. And it's like, now not having to do that, having my manager here to really, you know, help in a lot of ways to where I can just focus on training, it's helped out substantially, man. But yeah, man, I can't wait for, you know, whatever promoter feels like they want to work with me to sign me, man, because, you know, a lot of people, they don't really start dieting or training until they have a fight opportunity. I'm doing this every single day. Like, I'm staying in shape all the time. You know, I never have to be somebody that people are worried about, like, hey, did Blake go to the gym today? You know, so we'll see what is out there, man. I'm looking forward to whatever opportunities come my way and discussing them with my manager and becoming more of a household name. And, you know, one thing I want to tell people, man, like with me, what I want to become in my career and along my journey is more of an inspiration, less of an icon. Like I had mentioned earlier, I want my story and everything that I've been able to do and overcome to just be able to inspire people like, hey, if I can do it, you guys can do it too.
Well, the next fight, as soon as you know when the next fight is, dude, you got to get you on before the next fight. We were super bummed out that we couldn't get you on before this debut thing going on. You know, you're
holding a date
explosion party.
Oh so, man, you guys better have a fat checkbook waiting for me.
Well, I'll get my Taylor. I'll get my tailor. But you were mentioning the suit guy, the nutritionist, stuff like that. Is there anybody that you wanted to plug that was a main sponsor for this camp?
Honestly, man, so one of our main sponsors for this camp was HOLLIS. I was a little hesitant when first working with them just because I didn't want to get misconstrued in the wrong light. HOLLIS is, a CBD and a THC company that produces, great alternative medicine for people. But, just seeing how much, companies like this are accepted in today's, world and sports and everything, it made me feel a lot more comfortable. And honestly, the whole team and all the people over at HOLLIS are just some amazing people. They've shown us so much love and have supported us in a lot of ways. And, we're there, myself and my team and Josh, my manager, we're very thankful and appreciative for the contribution and everything they've done for us. We actually just had a dinner with them last night. But, not to try to shortchange anybody, man, I can't even think of everybody at the moment, but there's just been a lot of sponsors throughout my life that have supported me from the beginning. I have my massage therapist, Troy Goins of Get Me Goins Medical Massage, my chiropractor, Dr. Z, out in Roseville, California. We have my boy of the company, Live Blessed. There's just so many people to name that have supported me maybe at different times or have been here my whole career. At the end of the day, I take my hat off to people for always showing me love and support. Thank you for all my friends, family, and fans that have supported the movement. And, hey, don't count us out, baby, because we're going to come back in a lot of big ways after this last fight that we had. And, look, man, we're still making history. We're far from being done. We still got a lot to do. And I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Well, before we let you get going back to what you got to do, Blake, what is your social media? I know you don't have a Twitter. We're going to work on that. Even if it's just a base tweet here and there, we'll get you there. But where can your fans catch you right now?
Getting that set up, man. I'm not doing it.
So where can they catch you right now?
If you want to follow me, I'm all over the internet on Facebook as Blake McKernan, or on Instagram as at Blake the Beast. So I'm hoping everybody tunes in and supports the movement and the journey, man. We're going to be doing some big things. We've already started.
Hey, man, it sounds like there's a possible kick-ass waiting to happen, man. I got to ask you this before we go. How close is that fight being made? Is it just
what fight?
Word of mouth, Jake Paul?
Man, this dude's a sucker, bro. You guys know as well as I do, he got to have a big pair of balls that want to agree to fight me. He's calling out people to just try to get clout off other people's little gravy train, and he's not ready to fight somebody like myself. He wants an easy fight. He's fought guys that, didn't really have too much experience, So to answer your question, that fight's not really any closer than it was yesterday. In my mind and being in this game, nothing really means absolutely anything until you have a contract in front of you. So until I get a contract, we're not making no segue, man. But if the opportunity happens, be more than happy to take it. And the only reason I would even be willing, because in my mind, I'm always thinking about fighting up. At my position, how many people at 13 would take a big chance and risk to fight a former Olympian and 2-division world champion? So in my mind, I'm always thinking about fighting up because I want to fight and ultimately get a world title. And in order to get a world title, to be the best, you got to fight the best. So with all that said, I don't usually and never have fought guys with lesser fights than me or at a lower level in my career because on a business level, it doesn't make any sense. We have nothing to gain. But when it comes to Jack, I would love to take that fight just to really, get him to shut up, man. I can't stand the dude's demeanor or his personality.
No, that's pretty crystal clear, man. So other than the endorsements that you do have in front of you, if any plans on you getting your own brand, when I say brand, I'm talking about maybe your own gym, your own supplements. Are you working on anything that you can let us know about or look forward to?
So I got to get going, man. So I'm going to answer your question, though. I do have some things in the works and some big plans. Obviously when 2020 happened, 2020, this was a year, you guys probably like myself was like, man, this is going to be the year. This is a year that's going to be big for everybody. Then March came and Corona just destroyed everybody's plans. So I had a lot of big ideas of things I was going to do this year. I had to kind of just be quiet about them and wait for next year. But I am working on a lot of things right now quietly when it comes to buying some properties, owning my own gym. I'm working on making my own clothing line bigger. So, yeah, there are some very big things in the works. And when I announce them, it's probably going to be able to create a lot more haters, but I don't care, baby.
That's good, man. Hey, man, I'm going to let you go. But you know what my goal was today? Because when I got that text message and you said, hey, I'm only going to stay on for this long, my goal is to stay as long as I can. Bro. I kept you on for an hour. I appreciate that.
All right, Cole. All right, Richard, I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for all the love and the support over the years. Thanks for the opportunity to be on the show finally. I wish you guys all the best, man.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Blake. Appreciate your time, man.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
All right, Blake. Talk to you later, man. Cole, I mean, the man sounds like he's a man on a mission. You know, there's obstacles that are and he's handling it in stride.
Mm-hmm. No, he understands where he's at right now as far as boxing goes and as far as like the entertainment business goes.
Yeah.
Like he got a good taste of both of those by being in that position that he had been put in and created and being able to thrust himself into. So he's right where he needs to be. He's being very smart about it. Like you said, all the past experience of selling his own tickets, getting his own sponsors, branding himself, marketing himself, all that stuff makes it easier now for him to not have to worry about, but it allows him to magnify what he was able to do before because now he's got more tools at his disposal, bigger exposure, bigger names that he can network with. All these things that now are coming into place, like you said, he's had things that he's wanted to do for like over a year now. All these things are now falling into place for him. He can now start moving forward with things that he's probably passionate with outside of boxing, things that he's wanted to do with his life and do for his son, for his grandson, down the road, life stuff. You know, he wants to focus on big picture stuff now, and he's gotten those opportunities. He's now, you know, he can do that now.
Well, he's definitely in charge of himself. You can see that. You can see who's a lot of it comes from the discipline of the military, as I can see that's still embedded in him.
Mm-hmm. Super good work ethic.
And what you saw was a real interview. I mean, the man's walking, he's on the phone, he closed out when he had to go. But when he gave me the time limit, you know, I always try to stretch it out as much as I can to get them comfortable. He started to realize that towards the end. But nevertheless, we got a good side of him. Some of the questionnaire, to be honest with you, came up without me knowing the history or what some of those names meant to him. So I'm going to be honest, I did come some of it short, only because that's who we are.
I mean, you don't want to. First off, in this,
you never want to ambush. You never want to ambush your guests ever.
Yeah, but you don't want to have like a scripted line of questioning either.
Exactly.
It's easy for you to go, okay, bad topic, let's move on, and you did. Like you were just like, okay, we'll move on. Yeah. So I'd rather, and I'm sure the fans for sure would rather you ask a question that gets that person to go, you know, I'd really rather just. I don't want to talk about that. Let's just move on. Because now fans are always going to be wondering, hey, what was up with that? So any interview, anytime they get the chance to see them, they're going to want to see, hey, can we get them to ask about this? What was up with that? It builds mysteriousness. It builds rapport. It builds, you know, this ongoing fascination.
He addressed it, and I'm glad.
Yeah, he addressed it, but yeah, he was just like, let's move on kind of thing. So yeah, he knows exactly the direction he wants everything to go in right now. And he's doing what he needs to do in order to allow it to do that. Like, it's not just going to take – the train's not going to run itself. Yeah. He's got to be in the passenger seat and the driver's seat at the same time because he's got to sometimes be the passenger, let the managers do their thing. Yeah. All he has to worry about is just drive the fight train. That's all you need to do, man. Drive the fight train.
Exactly. And you can see the relief in him and in his expression when he says, hey, I got a manager now that can take care of that, and now all I got to do is worry about it.
All he's got to do is train. That's all he's got to do now is worry about when the gym is open and when do I have to be there. That's it.
Yeah,
it makes it way easier on him.
Exactly. So what do we got in the MMA news, man? Anything dropping?
Yeah, we got some stuff that went on. Anthony Rumble Johnson, remember he was slated to kind of come out of retirement and go back to the UFC, and I think it was going to be light heavyweight or heavyweight because he was looking a little big. He was a big boy. So they were going to bring him back. There was something slated. COVID kind of slowed that down a little bit. I think he was slated to come back next year, early next year. And then all of a sudden he just kind of said, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and go to Bellator. So I think him leaving, it was, from my understanding, it was mutual. It wasn't like they cut him or anything. There was plans to use him next year. He was just like, you know, so my question on that would be really, did he just part ways? Did they part ways because they're like, look, we're cutting a bunch of fucking people in this quarter. You're probably going to be one of them. So rather than have you come on, and we already know you've had problems making weight in the past, rather than risk you coming on and risking missing weight, for like say a light heavyweight match or something, then we gotta explain to ourselves why we brought a guy back that missed weight and gave him a fight, and now he missed weight again. So I think he'd rather start fresh with an organization he hasn't fought really for yet and be focused, maybe pull a little pressure off himself. Maybe he felt really pressured, especially with the lights and everything of the UFC. It's the highest caliber promotion. So I think maybe he wanted to pull a little pressure off himself and say, look, I don't want to be as scrutinized about the weight making. I want to ease myself back into this if I'm going to go out. So it wasn't just come out of retirement and go to the UFC, which is what it was supposed to be. It's come out of retirement, go to the UFC. I'm going to sign a contract with Bellator now. So we're going to see probably 3 fights out of him with Bellator at probably light heavyweight or heavyweight. I'm wondering if I'll wonder more questions after my first one is answered. Does he make weight? So when we see his first fight announcement, what the weight is, if he makes weight or not, then I'll go down the road of what other questions will we see as far as, because you got to remember, he beat Bader before. He's already beat Bader. Bader was their number 1. He got dethroned with that kick to the fucking face by that young stung Russian guy. So now it opens up that opportunity for, okay, well, we'll bring Rumble in and you two can fight. You know what I mean? And give Rumble a fast track to a light heavyweight title. So I kind of see Coker and them doing that. They'll bring him in. Maybe that'll be his second fight in. Maybe give him a mid-card guy to fight first, see if he even makes weight. Let's not give you a Bader fight and then have you miss weight. So there's that. Romero got cut. That was everyone's acted like it was really that big of a news. It really's not. It really wasn't. Dude was on a 2-fight losing streak. Got a title fight. Don't even fucking remind me about how stupid that was. Loses, whatever, lost, it happens. Now he's on a 3-fight losing streak. Anyone, you're getting cut. You're not Clay Guida. You're getting cut. That's all there is to it. That's my go-to. You're not Clay Guida. So he was cut. He's part of that 60. I think we have a better chance of seeing Yoel Romero end up in bare knuckle organization than we do seeing him in like a Bellator or something. I don't think Bellator. He's a little up there in age. So if he even does decide to continue fighting combat sports, and that's a big if, I don't know. This might be his way of saying, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take a break, keep doing me, I'm happy. I did everything I needed to be. Fought for a belt in the UFC. Very, very fucking few people in the world can ever say they did that. He can. So I don't think we'd see him go to Bellator. We might see him in Risen. I think Japan might go, we have a lot of money if you would like some. So I think they can use him in an entertainment aspect.
That'd be a great move there. I can see him being a fan favorite there.
He would definitely be a fan favorite, but again, man, with his age, his shelf life is fucking small. So I think he actually would maybe, as far as money and sports and sponsors and stuff in the States, bare knuckle might be fun. I think everybody would expect him to go into that anyway. So that happened. UFC 256 this weekend. It's lost like 3 matches just due to COVID alone. The card has made so many changes. I mean, as it was, the main event with Figueiredo wasn't even supposed to be the main event. It was more of a main event because of happenstance, because they lost like 3 fights and a card. Like it was just super chaos. But as far as MMA goes, that's about it. I'll give you a couple quick picks for the main and the co-main though for the Saturday card. Okay. You got Figueiredo coming off a fucking like 2 weeks ago, not even that. Like he's going to be fighting. The turnaround for him is going to be so fast.
That's a beast right there.
Yeah, he's going to fight the winner of the Moreno-Raval fight. Raval was talking all kinds of shit that Alex got that title fight before he did. Like, oh, I should have been next in line, blah, blah, blah. When you lose your next fight on the same card, so the winner, Moreno, is going to get the title shot at that, and that makes sense. Whoever won that fight was going to get the next title shot anyway. I'm going with Figgy on this one. Alex is my boy. I love you. Don't get me wrong. Fig looked really good in this fight. He looked like he was just kind of imposing his game plan on with the direction he wanted the fight to go. We did see We did see Alex expose a couple things in his striking a little bit there, I think, as far as, you know, the holes that might need to be fixed, timing things. Yeah. But outside of that, Fig looked really good, controlled the dictation of the fight. I think we'll see more of the same in the Moreno fight. I think Moreno brings a pretty good, you know, pedigree as well, good background, like, you know, wrestling backgrounds we already had too. But I think Figgy with the win on this one. I'll give you a more detailed breakdown of it, guys. We will have that on the YouTube channel as well. Don't forget that. And then you've got Ferguson, Tony, our boy's back in it. He's fighting Oliveira. I'll give you my opinions after Oliveira makes weight. That's all I can say on that one. Motherfucker's notorious for missing weight. So even Ferg's gone on record saying, look, dude, if you come in and you're like 3 or 4 pounds over, dude, fight's off. I'm not doing that. And I don't blame him. Everybody else does their job and makes weight. You're a fucking professional fighter. Make weight. This isn't the farm league. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear excuses. And anybody watching, anybody listening, anybody in the past says, oh, fuck that. Fuck that. I'd spent 10 years making weight. Okay? There's no excuse for a fighter to not make weight. If your opponent made weight, you make weight. If you don't show up on weight, dude, this is UFC. Like, realistically, not making weight, Israel's right. Not making weight should carry a significantly higher penalty. Not this petty, oh, you give 10% of your purse away and 10% to this and 10%. Fuck that, dude. You don't make weight, you're losing like 70% of your purse. Oh, boo-hoo, I can't make money. Make weight. Make weight. Make weight. If you don't make weight, you're not a professional. Like, it's really that hard. Literally, making weight is part of your job. Oh, I fight. Yeah, you train, you fight, you self-brand, you self-market, and you make fucking weight.
Exactly. Well,
all right, that's my jackass with the mustache thoughts on making weight. There's no excuse to not make weight. There's just not. It's part of your job. But like I said, I've got Ferguson on that one, but we'll see if Ali even makes weight. If he makes weight, then I'll have a better one. So, but expect that, guys. Expect the breakdown of that UFC card coming up for the weekend. It will be on the YouTube channel. I'm not going to post it on the Facebook page. I'm not going to post it on Instagram. Like, it's going to go just like the last card did. It's going to go on the page, guys, on the channel. You're going to have to subscribe and check it out if you want to get that. So,
and I appreciate the subscribers. And guys, don't forget www.youtube.com/thefightersvoice. Every fighter has a voice, and so do you. And I appreciate all the comments coming in from the Macho Camacho interview. Appreciate that from all over the world. I shared it with the team. We had one from Korea. I appreciate that. We appreciate that. And I got to give this kid a shout out. Agustin Vasquez. He was working out in the corner there, and you know, COVID shut all the gyms, and this young kid, he's putting in work in the garage. Cole, you should have seen him working the speed bag, the heavy bag. He didn't let anything stop him. The facilities were there inside his garage, and he was putting in work. I told him I'd stop by sometime once his virus starts to lift, and maybe get some sound bites from him and the setup they got in Madera, California.
Yeah, dude, COVID's UFC is a perfect example right now. That shit got hit hard. Like, people were just falling off that card left and right. Like, even Blake experienced it himself just for this one. So you're going to see that happening more and more, I think, as we get closer to just getting through this. I think this is one of the stages. We got to get through it. This is one of the stages you're going to see. It's like, but realistically, it's boxing and MMA are about the only ones that are doing consistent right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, granted, it's a lot easier. I do understand that, guys. Before you sports fans up, they go, dude, it's 2 fucking guys in the ring. I get that. Okay, there is a lot that goes into it, but I understand there is massive amount more of moving parts when it comes to dealing with whole teams, whole professional teams with assistants, trainers, trainer assistants, coaches, assistant coaches, assistants. Like, I get it. It is a lot harder. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of intermingling. It does make it significantly harder for you guys. So I understand that. So take that comment of MMA and boxing doing greater than everybody. You know, you got to love that sentence. They're just doing greater. So I understand that it is, take it with a grain of rice. I understand that it is harder to pull off team sports with a bubble. It's, dudes get horny and they go to a fucking hotel, dude. That's all there is to it when it comes to team sports. It's hard. You can't wrangle all those guys in. You're dealing with a bunch of testosterone. Good fucking luck.
Hey, things like that are going to happen. I mean, it's crazy. We got Tuesday night football now. It's no longer Wednesday. It's Tuesday because this whole COVID is hitting. You know, the Baltimore Ravens, they had to move that.
That I can understand. That I can understand. There's got to be some scheduling changes.
Exactly. It's all over the world, and no one's exempt from it. And yet we're still rocking and rolling. We appreciate the platform that we do got, the people involved in it, and in the team, and not to say it and be it sound like okay, we've all said every year this is our year, but I'm telling you, man. I'll just say this. I want to give a shout out to KKDJ. KKDJ, want to say hello to you. That meeting went really well. I'll share some more with you, Cole, as we go on. And yeah, man, there's nothing better than a stronger platform that continues to grow, man. And also holding it down in Stockton, we got Shelly Hollis, and he got some names coming up there. He's actually one of the guests he has coming on the show would be Carol the Cutwoman. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they got that locked in, and
we can hear some stories about her most recent events in the bubbles and stuff because she's been at a couple events lately.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So unless you got anything, that's it for me, my man.
That's it, man. Outside of that little spot of MMA, and that was a lot. That was a little decent amount of MMA. There's a lot going on. But like I said, C19 is hitting so hard, it just makes it hard because fights are just falling off. It makes it hard to spend a lot of time researching a fight where the next day it got canned. So it's rough, man.
It is rough. It is rough. Hey, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. And you subscribers, man, I appreciate it. Don't forget www.youtube.com/thefightersvoice. Every fighter has a voice, and so do you. It's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week. Remember, it's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, Cole ESCOVEDO, the special guests, and all the crew right here at the Kick-Ass Podcast, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.